In the final expense business, we usually talk to people who are not necessarily in the best shape. In many cases, we can get these people good coverage, but in some cases, we're not going to be able to get them anything that gives them first day full coverage. So in this video today, I'm going to teach you how to pitch the guaranteed issue to your waiting product so it makes sense to the person buying and so that you sell more final expense insurance. And that's coming up right after this. What's up, guys? It's Dave Duford here at Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com. Thanks so much for watching this video. And today's topic is how to effectively sell final expense guaranteed issue insurance, or if you got a product that's a 2-year waiting period product where there's no first day coverage. Like I said in the opening, the goal of all final expense agents should be to carry enough carriers to try to get your customers and your clients first day full coverage whenever possible. But you will run into circumstances, if you're a productive producer, where you're going to see people who are in just very bad shape and there's nothing we can do for them. You want to help them out because you can help them out, and there's business to be made and sales to be closed in the guaranteed issue side of the business. You just need to know how to sell the guaranteed issue product so it makes sense to the end user, the person who's buying, and so that ultimately they profit, you profit, and everybody's good. But here's something I do want to address up front before I start describing how to sell this. You don't need to walk away from guaranteed issue business or 2-year waiting period business. I have had multiple people who were not in good shape who died shortly after the 2-year period was up. And if it hadn't been for me using these tactics and strategies I'm about to share with you, they would not have had coverage for their family to pay for the deceased burial. And that's the thing is this product is valuable as long as you persuade them in the right thought process and what it is they're actually looking for. So please don't pass this kind of business up. In fact, I would never ever recommend, unless you walk them through it yourselves, them picking up another company that's on TV or through the mail, even though it might be a little more expensive, because the nature of the people we deal with, they just don't do anything for themselves. You have to hold their hand as a salesperson. That's what our job is to show them how to buy and guide them through the process. And a lot of these people that we deal with, just simply put, totally reality here, aren't going to do it by themselves. They need us. That's why we exist. So it's no different for guaranteed issue business. So how do you sell guaranteed issue business? Very simple, okay? You tell them right up front exactly that there's nothing you can do to get them first day full coverage. And you're going to come off a lot more honest and sincere about it if that's really the case. If you've got a lot of carriers and there's just no company out there that'll cover it, you can tell that to them honestly. I carry 15 companies in most states I work in, and if I look at them and tell them I got guaranteed issue business and that's all they're going to get, that's the truth, and that makes a huge impact. And here's the thing, if you're straight up with these people, they appreciate it. They're used to getting their leg pulled and BS their whole life. If you tell them exactly what it is that you can do and why that's the case, they're going to respect that a lot more than the guy who jumps around and lies about it. Trust me. I realized a long time ago that if you just tell people the truth, people buy from people, even if it's not necessarily the best news. So how do you do this? I say, look, you've seen I've looked through all these companies here. I carry a lot of different companies, and here's the truth. I cannot get you first day full coverage. There's just no way, because of your congestive heart failure, you're on dialysis, you take 100 units of insulin a day, and you're wheelchair bound. There's nothing I can do. So that's the bad news. Now the good news is I can get you a plan, okay, that I can get at a decent price. But the catch with it is that for the first 2 years, if you die, we'll send your money back to your beneficiary plus 10% interest or whatever it is for the particular product you're selling. So it's not like you're losing out on money. But once you get past the 2 years, you're fully covered. It doesn't matter how you die, accidentally, naturally, you're covered. And for the first 2 years, by the way, you are 100% covered for accidental death. And so I phrase it in a positive way. I say, look, you're not going to lose money by putting money into this. It's better than putting it into a bank. And then I also say, hey, your accidental death coverage is 100%. That's true with most guaranteed issue carriers. So I conclude by saying this. The bottom line is that if I hate not being able to get you first day full coverage. I want to. You know, that's my goal with everybody I sit down with. But the reality is, this is good and you should get it, because if you don't, and 2 years and 6 months pass and you die, you're not going to have any coverage anyway. The reason you buy an insurance product like this is not for that first 2-year period, because yeah, it's not good. I agree. But it's for after. Once the 2 years are up, you have no worries whatsoever. You know you're covered, your family's protected, and you're going to just really have peace of mind knowing that you did the right thing by buying it. So my question to you is this: is that something that makes sense to you, or is that something that you just can't accept? So I say that whole phraseology there because, again, I'm being sincere in approaching the client in a way that, of course, I want to address the negatives. You know, there's nothing wrong in a sales process to address the objection. You always want to address the objection and be forthright and sincere about it. It's not good they're not covered. I'm the first one to say it. And if you're the first one to say it, it comes off as a lot more sincere. But you have to pitch and weave a web of reason and emotional backing to it that it's still a good idea, because it's not the 2 years that we're thinking of. We're thinking of the longer term. We're thinking of what happens in 2 years afterwards. It's going to be a lot better plan to have then, of course, and if something happened to you, you've got the peace of mind. So that makes a huge difference. And then at the very end, I do an ultimatum kind of close. And the reason I do that is because I have found after years of selling guaranteed issue 2-year wait products is they're either going to take it, accept the fact that they've got a 2-year wait because they know deep down they're in bad shape and they don't blame the company, or they're going to be hardballs about it and say no to anything. And it doesn't matter how much convincing you do, because conceptually they just don't believe it. It's like trying to talk to a Muslim about Christianity or a Christian about atheism. There's a huge chasm that you cannot cross, that most people never will, because deep down in their core, they just think that insurance should do its job whenever it's purchased. Even if they are in bad shape, they should be covered for everything. And you're not going to be able to walk them off the plank in many circumstances. So I don't even fool with that. So if they say, yeah, I just can't take it, then that's cool, and I'm pack my bags up and find a real prospect. But that approach, if you listen to that, if you take the verbiage and the pursuit of how it is and mentally how I set it up to talk to the client, trust me, this is huge. These people appreciate honesty. They know you're being truthful when you set it up like that, and they'll buy from you. And you'd be shocked that people will buy 2-year waiting period products. I used to be afraid of offering it, like I said earlier. I thought, man, here's the bad news, man. Yeah, but that's your own perception. Their perception's different. And what they probably, in many cases, don't tell you is, man, I'll be lucky to get anything. And even if they have diabetes, you're not going to put them with a 2-year wait period. But people think, I've got X issue, nobody's going to insure me. And that's not the case. So when they get even a little bit of something, like a 2-year wait, they're thrilled and they're happy to get it. So I hope you enjoyed this awesome video on how to sell guaranteed issue business. Very important to learn how to do. If you'd like to learn more tips and tricks and tactics and get free training from me, if you haven't joined my free newsletter up here in the part of that screen there, click the button there. It's my No BS Final Expense newsletter. I send a weekly Wednesday newsletter out with all sorts of video training, new article releases, old articles I've released in the past that I just like to disseminate and share with people who want to get better at selling final expense. And to bribe you ethically to join the newsletter, I give out free sales calls that I've done that you can listen into like a fly on the wall and learn how I sell final expense. I've got free appointment setting audios you can learn how to set appointments with, as well as door knocking scripts and appointment setting scripts. I mean, awesome free stuff that's totally available to people on my list as my way of saying thanks for joining. So again, thanks so much for watching. It's Dave Duford at Final Expense Agent Mentor. Y'all take care and have a great rest of the week. Thanks.